What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 171 of the Tasty Cast, the best fucking podcast on the internet about video games. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Chevy. Chevy, hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully you're excited and ready for Gamescom, which we will be streaming on Tuesday.
So, unless in the plus more section there's something which said, I'm excited for the show.
Yeah.
But the games list that at least Jeff Keighley posted, there's like one thing on that whole list I even moderately cared about. So
I didn't even really look at it a whole lot because anything that's like news not going to be on that list, so I can't know what they're going to be revealing.
At the bottom is that plus more, and I was like, hopefully the plus more is exciting because the list they showed, I was like, eh.
Well, according to a couple leaks, there's games that are going to be coming, including Helldivers 2. Did you see that?
You had kind of said something, and then I thought I had saw a blip on Twitter or something. But
yeah, Helldivers 2, a 10-second clip for the trailer came out, and it looks legit as fuck. And Sony pulled it, so that might get revealed at Gamescom. I don't know. Dead Island 2, which I just did a video on, so make sure to go check that out. It's a TLG Reacts. Also got leaked by Amazon for pre-order, so that might be in preparation for a Gamescom reveal. And then I think Kojima said something, which he always is saying something, and it a lot of times doesn't mean anything. Said something that alluded to like a trailer or something got completed. So we'll see if that happens. But I feel like every event coming, it's like people are speculating Kojima's going to have an announcement. So I try not to get too excited about that.
yeah.
So I think we got some stuff to look forward to, though, hopefully. But I'm really excited. We're going to be streaming it probably around midnight PST. I need to do a test stream to make sure everything's up and running just fine because we haven't done it in a while. But I'm really excited. I'm always really excited for all the events, even if it's stuff we've already seen. Hopefully we see new stuff on it. There's a couple things I remember hearing about that. I was like, I want to see more on that. And then, of course, the plus more is the stuff I'm really interested in. So, yeah. Yeah, leaks galore, though. Fucking too many of those lately, which is not the way I want to find out about games. But I guess that's just how I'm finding out about games recently. So anyway, I'm doing pretty good. I'm sunburnt. We went to the beach, and I'm not built for standing in the sun for too long, but I braved through it. I'm a little more pink than usual, so bear with us on that. All right, so Tastecast, let's jump into what we've been playing, and I will go first. So games I can't talk about, you guys know the rules around here, but I'm going to tell you what I've been playing. Soul Calibur 6, which is our game of the month. We'll be discussing that at the end of the month, but I've been playing it. I need to play a significant more amount of it. That's something I'm going to prioritize between now and those episodes, which will be coming sooner than I feel like they should be. And then I've been playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 quite a bit, and Little Nightmares, and Yakuza Like a Dragon, which we will be discussing on Plus Club at the end of the month, coming very soon as well. And honestly, all four of these games, I'm really excited to talk about them. So I'll leave it there. Whether that's good or bad, I want to do it. I want to talk about it. So stay tuned for that. I've been playing more Vampire Survivors. I won't go over exactly what it is in full detail like I did on the last Tasty Cast, but it is a top-down game where you control a character with WSAD or the analog stick, and they auto-attack as you kill more enemies. You level up, and you're able to pick new weapons and upgrade those weapons until you're this lawnmower, and you see how far you can go. Until you hit 30 minutes, and then you get murdered by the Grim Reaper or kill him, and then you unlock a lot of shit. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. The game is really hard to not have fun with. Try it. I dare you. It's $3. I think it's $4 now. It went up by $1 maybe. Inflation's a motherfucker. But apparently there's a new character that came out.
Yeah.
Did you hear about her?
I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah, it's like Queen Sigma.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what her move is, but it seems like these slices on the screen.
I think there's swinging a sword around.
Yeah,
is the idea.
Because I watched a video of somebody playing her. I didn't look into the details because I just didn't. And it looked like there's just slices happening on the screen. And later they were huge and cutting through a bunch of people, which is kind of interesting. They added 2 new items. I don't know what those are, are 2 new weapons. I don't know what those are, but I assume one of them is her weapon.
Probably.
Because that's new. And then they also added new Arcana, which I assume is the abilities.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, I'm just guessing that that's what that is. So Really cool to see the game being updated still. I also I've played the game for like I think 16 hours now, and it's a lot of fun. I've unlocked a lot of stuff. But when people tell you there's a lot of stuff to unlock, they're right, because I was looking at that dude's video who was playing Queen Sigma, and he was scrolling down to her character, and above that he had like 15 characters I don't have.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fuck the new character. Like, that's just another new character among 15 fucking new characters I don't even have yet. I can't be excited for her because I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know there's that many more characters I don't have.
Yeah, it's a pretty big game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And he just keeps adding these little updates, although I guess this is the last major content update before 1.0, which is wild. The game's not even in 1.0.
Yeah.
The one thing I want him to do, though, whatever he can do to balance it and make it right and feel fun. I would love a co-op mode where there's two of you and you're going. I don't know how that would work, but I think it'd be really fun to do that with a friend, because it's already a lot of fun to just watch someone play it, which is weird for me to say. I hate watching people play video games, but I'd rather play it myself. But in a game that's already like, you watch somebody like, oh shit, like, hopefully you make it, or it's just satisfying to watch them murder people. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do it with another friend. Like, I just don't know. The game's not graphically intensive, but in my brain, I'm like, that's a lot of shit happening on screen. It'd be kind of hard to fucking understand. It
would be so hard.
Well, that's why I'm saying he would have to tailor a 2-player mode where it would work, because the way the game is now, adding another player would just ruin it.
He'd be invincible. Yeah.
So you would have to have, like, co-op mode, same map, same enemy types, but they would have to up the the damage thresholds, do a bunch of balancing and stuff. But if he did that, that would be fucking awesome in my opinion. So that's something I would really want. Otherwise, keep doing what you're doing with that game, because it's so fucking simple and so fucking fun that it really deserves like the credit it gets, the praise it gets. I mean, I don't think anyone could not have fun with that game. So that's a recommendation for everybody. So Vampire Survivors. Won't talk about too much longer, but it's cool and new content. The other game I am playing in preparation for Helldivers 2 announcement that is imminent, I'm sure, is Helldivers. I bought it again. I originally played it when it first came out on PlayStation 4, and I fucking loved it when it came out. I think it's such a cool idea. If you don't know what Helldivers is, it is also a top-down game that's up to 4-player cooperative, where you get dropped down on... It's kind of like Deep Rock Galactic, except for you don't mind. You get dropped down on planets that have different difficulties and stuff, and you have to complete missions where you go from objective to objective until you finish those objectives, and then you have to extract by calling in a vehicle that comes down and gets you. While it's happening, enemies are attacking you, and it is a twin-stick shooter, or on PC it's with a mouse, but... you shoot enemies, you can lay down, just get under cover, because the game is actually kind of hardcore. Your teammates can kill you. Like, they do like the same damage as everything else. So maybe on the difficulties it changes. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But regardless, you can get murdered by your teammates. So it's a game where you need to watch your fire, coordinate as a team, and utilize what you have in the situation. A game that's really perfect for me, because I love team-based games. I love games that have a lot of risk and reward. So anyway, that's what that game is. And as you play, you unlock. You do kind of level up. I think you get perk points you can put in to upgrade your weapons and stuff and gear. But as you progress through the planets and beat the planets, you unlock new equipment, from like bombing runs to like they added a vehicle where everyone can get in and be on a gun, which is kind of cool. They have mechs, flamethrowers, all sorts of crazy shit you can have dropped in. There's a really interesting combo system when you call things in. You have to use up, down, left, right on the D-pad, or WSAD on PC to you have to put the code in to have it dropped. Even when you do objectives, you have to put a code in to complete it. And that's it's kind of an interesting thing, because in the game it's like super hectic, everybody's shooting at you and stuff. So to put these simple codes in can kind of seem like a challenge at times. But I like that touch. So anyway, I played on PS4, and I haven't played it in a long time. I know Helldivers 2 is coming, and I forgot how much I really liked Helldivers. So I bought it on PC. I bought the Ultimate Edition, which came with like 6 DLCs I've never even touched before. So it's going to feel almost new the more I play it. But I've played it a little bit so far, and I've been having a lot of fun with it already. I think we're going to play some more later tonight, me, Josh, and Sarah. And yeah, it's a really cool game. It's like 7 years old. I had no fucking idea it was that old at this point, but it came out on PS4 like a long time ago. And it still looks great, still plays great, still an awesome idea. So it kind of makes sense for Helldivers 2 to be coming out soon because it's been long enough. I feel like the game probably made its money. I mean, it was pushed by Sony as a PlayStation game, even though it's on PC. When you start the game up, it says Sony Entertainment, so it's fully a Sony game. Yeah, the big thing I hope they do with that is just keep the same formula with 2. I mean, keep the same formula, but just more content, more ways to progress, and that would be really cool. More customization, just more of everything, because the game's already a lot of fun. But yeah, played it on PC though after I bought it, and played with randos. And you can tell some people have been playing for a while. They got a lot of equipment and they know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing as well, but I'm like starting from the beginning again, so I got nothing. But also I ran into the thing that I fucking hate about games like this. People just murdering me on accident, not on purpose. Like they'll like call something in and fucking it'll smash me, and I should be watching out for that, but I'm fresh again. But then like someone will be shooting and they just turn and like shoot right into me and shit, and I'm just like, oh my god, watch where the fuck you're shooting. Which is the most frustrating thing about games like that. And I like the element of you gotta watch that shit when you're playing. But when you're playing with people who just don't give a fuck like that, it can be annoying if it keeps happening over and over again. So yeah, it's just like Magica when we played that with Josh.
For sure.
He wanted to use electricity spell over and over again, talking about how good it was, but we were all wet and fucking he's just shocking everybody. I'm like,
right.
dude, come on. Yeah, so I plan on playing more of that just because I got Helldivers on the mind, and fucking I love that format. I apparently just love games that have a hub, and you get people together, and you level up, and you get new equipment, and you get dropped into places to do missions, because that's like a format that just fucking works for me. Like almost every time I play a game like that, I'm like, this is like my favorite kind of game for some reason. I don't know why. So, and Helldivers is definitely scratching that itch for me. So, definitely plan on playing that more. As long as I got the time. There was like a solid almost 2 weeks there where I wasn't playing anything. That's why Vampire Survivors kind of got dropped on me. Because I'm like, wait, I can just play this like anywhere easily. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Yeah. In the last week, I played one game. So I've been playing a lot of Ark Survival Evolved. Been playing on the base map, the island. And I've been playing with Chris and community member Scream. And
been flying on birds with fucking feather physics that look great. I didn't know the game looked like that.
Well, it's also helps I can actually run the game. I actually had to turn some stuff down out of personal preference because the water reflection, the sun bouncing off the water is blinding. I was like, I can't play like that. And I shut that shit off.
I remember that.
Yeah, so...
going for that realism.
Yeah, which, is cool and all, but the game's like, you're on an island, so like fog rolls in, it rains really heavy. I'm like, I'm already spending half my time not being able to see. I don't need the game to blind me even more, so.
True.
Mostly been spending our time the last week solidifying our base. We had like a base set up, but it took us forever to scout a spot for it because we were trying to go maybe a little deeper in, but of course the deeper in you go from the spawn points, the more dangerous it gets, and kind of hard to build when you're being attacked constantly. So we finally did find a flat surface. The only thing we're not really close to is water, but we just took some piping down from the swamp and just brought it all the way up this hill so that we could have water available to us.
That's so cool. There's piping.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even remember that.
Now I have wires for electricity. So, which is the stage we're at, but we're not resource ready.
Do you hook that up to like a generator?
Yes.
Okay. Does the generator take fuel, or is there solar panels? Okay.
Yeah. I wish there were solar panels. The game really needs it at higher levels. I would understand not giving it to you immediately. Because right now we're at the point where...
Well, solar panels take a while to charge up. It would just be nice because you're not using a fuel that you have to replenish.
During the day, you just wouldn't have the lights and stuff on, right? I don't have any of that stuff yet anyways. Yeah. We're all high enough level to like build all that stuff, but resource-wise, we've just tackled the metal problem. So we have easy access to metal. We all have rifles with scopes and stuff now, which has been nice. I just got done making like a ridiculous amount of bullets so that I could go on hunts. We got a fabricator, which is the next step in workbenches. So like we can make like modern pistols and rifles and stuff. But again, resources aren't there yet. So our next step is to like kind of lock down oil, which is unfortunately underwater. And I hate being underwater. So
when I fucking log on next, I'm just going to go to your guys' place.
that's fine.
Fucking get your shit.
Yeah, so the way we got it set up, we just have like a 2-story building, and the upstairs is mostly empty. So I mean, there's plenty of room to throw a bed down, and then all the stuff downstairs is for building. And then we just got done building a huge gate around an area to keep all the dinosaurs in. I think we have 4 flying mounts right now, so it'd be really easy to get more too.
Still remember back in the day when we had that pterodactyl system where we were flying up to the top of the mountain to get all the iron and shit and flying down.
You can't really use pterodactyls for that so much anymore because they can't carry the weight. They made some changes, really? Yeah. So pterodactyls are good for like speed.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
I just remember being a pretty long flight. We'd be in the air for like 2-3 minutes.
Oh, that hasn't changed.
Yeah, and I remember we would just pack the pterodactyls full of iron and fly back down.
Yeah, they don't carry a whole lot anymore. The Eagle or whatever it's called carries probably the most out of the ones we have, and then I have like a dinosaur style like Pelican. That can carry a pretty decent amount, but mostly I have it loaded up on stamina so it can just make long trips, and then it can fish. So it'll land in water, which the other birds can't do, and you just bite fish and it collects meat.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a really cool way to get some food.
That's cool. They got so many options.
Dude,
like
there's
that.
so many dinosaurs now.
Yeah.
Like the Triceratops, for example, is really good at collecting berries. The Stegosaurus is good at collecting berries, thatch, wood. We have a beaver for taking down trees, and it makes the weight of wood half when it's carrying it.
Giant beaver?
It's a giant beaver you can ride on.
It's pretty dope. I need that.
There's these little like lizard things that literally the only purpose is you pet them and they give everything around it an EXP buff for a little bit. Like there's all sorts of stuff in the game. It's wild.
Huh, interesting. So, it sounds like they've added just a lot of like obviously they added like new content like animals and dinosaurs and shit, but it's kind of interesting they have gameplay mechanics like that.
Yeah, well you could tell because like, you know, obviously around the time that it came out, you also had like Conan and Rust and stuff like that, and like, you know, Rust really leaned into the PvP, but they all really have that kind of like ingrained in them to have like systems for PvP. And so like being able to have things that are better at doing certain things makes that dynamic more planning oriented.
Yeah.
So
didn't they add a dinosaur you can build on?
we have one. Has a platform in its back. We can put a small house on it now.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's the smallest one.
I know there's a flying one too they added.
There's also an underwater one.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. It's a huge game. A little janky.
Yeah.
Which I know not everyone can handle, but I don't know. I'm having a blast. Honestly, the worst part about it though is getting in a situation where you're like, I'm fucked. You're just sitting there like, I'm screwed. Like we were trying to get I can't remember what it's called, but it's better at breaking rocks and collecting rocks. But they don't spawn anywhere near us. So we had to go like way out and get it. And then on the way bringing it back, it fell off the boat and a shark just came up and went. I'm like, cool. What a waste of time.
It's fucking crazy.
So
that so in like Conan Exiles, once you learn the map pretty well, like a lot of the animals spawn in the same spots and stuff, and so you can kind of predict situations better the more you play the game. And that's really any game, but like Ark always felt
too,
but Ark always felt like I'm like, you know, day 16 of doing the same task, and today something fucking weird happened, like a T-Rex just showed up.
Well, there are rare spawns too, which T-Rex probably they have a common area obviously, but there's probably a rare chance like here type of deal.
Yeah, I just remember back when I played, which years ago, like when I played a lot. I played more recently, the newer version, but I'd be like walking through an area I've walked through before, and all of a sudden I was running into some fucking dinosaurs I never saw there before, and I'm like, well, this is fucked.
Well, I mean, that's still the way
Yeah.
We right outside of our fence line, there's this weird like bipedal like bird-esque dinosaur, and Chris was trying to get around it and had 3 raptors on auto follow with him. And unfortunately, it got too close, and the raptors went over, and it swung once, killed all 3, and he's like, shit, and he just ran off. So apparently they're strong.
Yeah, that game and Minecraft both have that like, well, I got fucked kind of like feeling of just like it's just over. Like, well, my shit's gone.
Yeah, for sure. Though the loss in I think the loss in Minecraft's a little worse, just because like everything I've lost in Ark, I'm just like, well, I guess I just have to go get that again, and then I just go do it, and then it's kind of the same in Minecraft as well, I guess. But getting around in Minecraft, unless you're just like really stacked, is kind of hard. Versus like, I can just go tame something real quick and write it out. So I don't know.
Yeah, now you can tame shit real quick.
Some things, yeah.
'Cause I remember when we played back in the day, fucking, it took
Oh, it
like
was-
a long time.
It was
then,
awful.
when me and Sarah played recently, she tamed something in like fucking a couple minutes or some
I
shit.
think the longest hit we had was half an hour, and we just had the wrong food. But that's just
Yeah.
the option we had.
That's still crazy you
available.
can do that.
Animal husbandry, on the other hand, sucks. We had a fertilized dodo egg. It hatched. Didn't imprint it fast enough. It died of starvation. Got another one, hatched, imprinted it so that it knew that basically we were mom or dad or whatever. And then you have to it can only hold 5 berries, and it's just eating them constantly, and it doesn't mature for like 4 hours. So you have to be there or it dies. And I'm like, this is like the beginning step of that. Apparently some stuff can take days. And I'm like, that's not interesting to me.
You'd have to take shifts.
Uh-huh.
I mean, fucking baby works.
I was like, yeah, I'll just tame things I want. I won't breed them. Fuck that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
That's cool though. I kind of like how bold they are in that. That like, they still kept some of that, because there's something interesting about the adventure of doing that, and when you achieve it, it feels like you fucking earned it, which I think so many games, not even just like survival games, so many games, you don't feel like you earned shit anymore.
for sure. Oh, I agree with that 100%. Because the difficulty's on a curve.
Yeah.
Not a curve. Like it's like always with you, I mean.
Yeah. Most games are just like to make sure things are interesting at all times right now, but yeah, there's never like you conquered something or achieved something in a way that's meaningful.
Well, and then there's like other kind of mechanics game too. Like there's these little birds that all they want to do is snatch stuff from you. And if you have a weapon out while you're doing it, they'll come by and knock it out of your hands. And you got to pick it up off the ground again to keep attacking it. Or like,
Need a fucking gun to shoot those guys.
well, I do when I see them now, because I'm just like, nope, don't even try.
Yeah, anything in any game ever that fucking messes with your equipment in any way, I hate. Whether they take shit or knock it out of your hand or anything, I hate that shit.
Well, then like if you're flying through like the redwoods, for example, there's these things that'll be on the side of the tree, and if you fly too close, they'll jump at you and knock you off your flying mount.
Man, there's a lot of stuff in that
I was
game.
like, I'm flying higher than that then.
I love how many different challenges the game's presenting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That
And
sounds
then
cool.
there's alpha monsters now. They'll be like glowing red, essentially. They're like on crack hard, and then they're just worth a shit ton of EXP, and then they'll drop rare materials and stuff. So
What level are you?
68 to 70,
That's
something in
not
that range.
super high. I don't
I
remember
mean,
what it
100
was.
is the cap. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I felt like whether it was on...
I can make auto turrets if I had the materials now. So
That'd be sick.
I'd love to, but materials.
Yeah. I think I don't know if like my current character, what level they are, is probably like 15 or something, but
You can get to 60 super fast.
yeah, I got to 50 the first time we played it pretty quickly,
Yeah.
but I was just like cutting trees down nonstop, and that was leveling me pretty quick.
I mean, building the house got me up to 60 pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
And then after that, it kind of like came to a snail's pace, so which is fine. That's pretty much the point where you have tools to do everything you need to, and after that, you're just kind of getting like better tools. So
Gotcha.
yeah, having a lot of fun with that. My goal is to get us to a point where we can go to the obelisks and fight the bosses, because I've just never done that in this game.
That's the one thing that we never did.
Yeah,
when we originally played. So like I don't even know what that's like.
That's my goal, is to get to that point, fight those bosses, and beat the game. So
It'd be cool to beat the game and then go to the next map and try and beat it.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I might have to hop in for that.
you should. Been playing it a lot.
I don't got the gear you guys got, but I played it a little
that's
bit when you
easy.
guys weren't playing.
We got extra.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody will be down to give me stuff. So
Well, at least get you going.
I need armor and weapons.
I got at least 3 extra pistols right now.
That's it, dude. After that, I'm set.
But yeah, that is literally what I've been playing. And the game literally takes my time and makes it just disappear. I literally am time traveling when I'm playing that game, I swear. So
Yeah, games where you can be creative, make time fly by, and not everybody's gonna be building crazy stuff. But any game that where you have to like process any kind of creativity, like where we're gonna put the house, put it there. We're gonna put a box right there. Oh, we have to chop these things down to do that. Oh, we got to gather this and put it there or whatever. Blah blah blah. That all makes you not pay attention to anything. And it's funny because like obviously we're not talking about things that aren't video game related, but like even like when I work on music or do any kind of creative endeavor, any kind of artistic thing, fucking time melts.
Yep.
It's gone. Like I can work on a song and all of a sudden like 6 hours is gone, and I'm like, whoa. Same thing with like these kind of survival, crafting, house building type games. Like time just fucking goes. So yeah, I get that.
oh, for sure.
Especially when I'm really into one, which I could tell you're really into this right now. It's like you were really into Minecraft when you were playing it a lot. You don't even pay attention. You're just going.
Well, no, and like the worst part is like I'll be like, okay, my plan. I was like, it took me like 3 days to make the fence for the dinosaurs, and in my head I was like, oh, when I get off work, I'll just go home and do that. And yeah, no, the amount of wood I needed was insane. So,
Yeah.
did not happen in one night.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of cool to get like a bunch of people working on like similar tasks together. Like a lot of times when I play games like that, I'll go off and do my own thing. But when I was playing that recently, I was like, man, some of these tasks are going to take a lot of resources.
Yeah, turned into Scream trying to find things to tame to make it easier while Chris gathered and I was building. Just so we could get that part done. And then when we locked down metal, even though it's not the closest metal, it is the safest metal, transporting it's slow. So
Here's one thing I really liked about Icarus is because it is a timed thing. You got to get like go, go, go. There's no time to be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, it's just like, I'm going to build a fucking house. You guys get food. You guys start looking for this shit.
Sure.
Like, go, go, go. And it's kind of a similar thing, except for you're doing it at your own pace, which is obviously preferable in a game where you want to exist in the game. But Icarus forces you to do that. And I enjoyed that element of it because that is a fun way to play that I typically don't in games like this. So
For sure. Yeah, no, I've been having a lot of fun with it. Plus, it's just a good way to like hang out in voice chat. Though survival games in general, something sneaks up on you, attacks you, and all of a sudden someone's like, ah! real quick, and you're like, what the fuck's happening?
yeah, anytime I play a survival game with people and someone has some kind of like reaction that's loud, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Did you get killed? Like fucking
Well, like, so I had a snake sneak up on me, and they have a toxin that puts your character to sleep for a little bit. And it's in the middle of the night, and we needed wood. And I was like, I'm close enough to the house. It's not a big deal. Well, the snakes live in the swamp. Well, apparently they can go up walls, though. So it went up the cliff and was like wandering around. And then I didn't hear it. And all of a sudden I heard, and it hit me. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck?
That's fucking scary.
Kristen and Scream were like, what's up? I'm like, I got bit by something and my vision's going away. I don't know what's going on. And Scream was like, oh, it's a snake. And then like, where are you? Like, I don't know. It's dark and I'm passed out. Like,
that was like way back in the day when I used to play DayZ religiously and fucking Josh hopped on and he had the weirdest strategy. He was like, I'm gonna go get food and I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I'm like, that's a good plan. I mean, I get that. He's like ran to a store, found a can of beans or some shit. He's like, this is enough. And then he's like running out there. And then later he's like, wait, how do I open this? And I'm like, you don't have like a can opener or something? He's like, no. I'm like, well, what the fuck are you doing? You got to be able to open that. I think now there's like a system where you can break it open, but you can lose food doing it. But back then they didn't have that. Yeah, exactly. You can take a rock and break it, but you lose food out of it. You get like 70% or 50 or something like that. But yeah, back then you had to have a tool, a knife or a can opener or something like that. So he's just out in the woods with a can of beans. That's it. And he fucking was just out there starving to death. And he's like every 10 or 20 minutes, he's just like, oh, I'm going out again. And like you just pass out there. And I'm like, where are you? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm just sleeping right now. And his screen's just black or whatever. And eventually he died out there, just starving to death because he couldn't function anymore. And I'm like, that's fucked, dude.
Yeah.
I'll never be that guy.
Well, it's like I got stuck. We had had spiral staircases, past tense. I got rid of them after this happened to me. But I fell between them and the wall. And I was like, oh, I can't get out. Cool. I was like, Chris, come here. He's like, comes in and he's like, maybe we should break down the wall. I was like, I'm going to try something. And I like took off all my stuff and threw it on the ground. I was like, pick that up and now knock me out. And he was like, what? I was like, knock me out and drag my body out of the hole. And he was like, okay. And he just started punching me and then drug my body out. And I was like, thank you.
It's a bizarre situation to be in. Just knock me out and drag my body.
I was like, all right, we know how to get out of things now. Just knock your fucking friend out.
Yeah, that game had places to get stuck in though, because I know exactly where it's at right now, so I want to check and see if it's still there or not. But there's like this area on a hill that had like a dip inside it, and then the other part of the hill, and like if you fell in there, you couldn't get out.
Where the two assets were
Yeah.
on top of each other.
Yeah, it was just like this crack, and you couldn't get out of there. Somebody got stuck in there, and they're trying to jump out of it, and then I fell in, trying to get him out, and fucking got stuck in there. And it was just a shit show.
For sure. Anyways, I could probably rattle on for a while, and it's already been like 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm playing that a lot. I plan to play it more. I'm having a lot of fun with it right now. So
Cool. Anything else?
that's it. That's all I've been playing.
All right, simple enough. Let us know in the comments what games have you guys been playing? What games do you plan on playing? Do you have any recommendations for us? And yeah, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. All right, we got quite a bit of videos to watch today, so let's just jump into it. The first one is something I found out right before filming. The Ascent has a new DLC called Cyber Heist. This is the official DLC launch trailer for Cyber Heist. If you don't know what the Ascent is, well, we had a whole video we did where we reviewed the game. We reviewed it well, despite some major issues we ran into with the game.
After reviewing it.
Yeah, exactly. The review would have been different if our characters getting wiped had happened beforehand. But yeah, it is a top-down cyberpunk game, twin-stick shooter. You level up, you get augments, stuff like that. You'll see in the trailer. But yeah, there is a new DLC that is adding some cool stuff, including something we wanted, melee weapons. So yeah, we'll watch this and we'll discuss it. Do you have anything before we watch this?
I kind of like read up on it real quick last night because I was uninstalling some games. I happened to uninstall the Ascent, ironically, last night. But I saw in the little blip there on Steam, it had said something about a DLC, and I was like, what? And I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, it's a post game thing. Okay. So.
Yeah, it adds like a story and shit. So, pretty cool because the game's still a little fresh for me. So, even though I've played it so much at this point, I'm like, I would just have to keep playing the story to keep progressing, and it's like barely any progression. But now they're adding things. I'm like, kind of want to hop back into it. So, yeah, ready to watch this?
Yep.
All right, this is the Ascent Cyber Heist official DLC launch trailer in 3, 2, 1, and go. Let's see. No, it's not. Okay. Gear up for all new contract.
Sent word you'd be coming, I must say. It took you sweet time getting here. So, now, let's see if it was worth the wait. There's something I need you to get for me. And it ain't a thing, it's a person. I need you to find and then extract a scientist.
I'm glad they're supporting this game, though. Like, I hope they support it more after this. The game definitely deserves
and they were going to bring a certain game-changing technology
to be fixed, but also updated.
So, the race is on.
Yeah, it's just updated. In prep for the DLC, it had bug fixes. I didn't read on
first.
Take on an army. With new weapons, including melee.
Softly. We're looking for some,
Melee.
not full guns.
How do I say? Some kind of hammer.
You get me?
Fucking sword. I never. Wait.
This is important.
I don't remember a shield.
Do not.
Did you see that? Yeah, the guy was walking with a shield and the guy behind him was shooting over him.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
I was hoping you'd come.
That's a cool mask.
I was beginning to get so very bored here.
All right, what do we think?
I mean, it's a little hard to tell. It was a very busy trailer.
Yeah. Although I got the shield out of that. I was looking, I'm like, I don't remember trying to do that. I'm like, wait, I don't remember that shield.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they added some melee weapons. I know that was I think we had commented on early on. It was kind of strange that enemies had them and you didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they added that. I'm glad as well that they added another campaign to do because I mean, honestly, it is a fun game. It has some flaws, but I think the fun factor outweighs that.
Yeah, when I've dealt with half the shit we dealt with, the game was even like okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's enough to get me necessarily like wanting to hop back in immediately, but we'll see. I'll have to see how the reviews fare on it and see like kind of how long it is and whatnot. So, but if it's something they continue to keep on doing, I would definitely come back to it. I had fun with the game, so.
Yeah. Well, upon fucking finding this out, I did buy it. I haven't played it yet, so I'll let you know what I think with what they added. But I'm really excited because even though this game does have issues, for sure, undeniable ones, that I hope they fix, the game is really fucking cool. I love the aesthetic of it. I think the story got interesting at the end. They don't tell you until the end. The gameplay is awesome. And the whole Cyberpunk thing is awesome. I really enjoyed this game outside of the bugs it has. And this is a game that when we beat, I was like, this needs more content. And it already has plenty. You can play this game and get everything unlocked and be done with it in under 100 hours, easy, way under 100. But so it's not really a long-term game. But I was like, it'd be really cool if it had some kind of end game, something to work towards, something to keep you playing it, because it was a game that when I was done with it, I felt done and I didn't want to be yet. I wasn't finished with it. And I don't think this will fix that. It seems, like a small bite-sized chunk of content. But if they're willing to make this, I hope they're willing to make more content after this. Hopefully it was successful enough for that. And that's really what I want. So it's a step in the right direction for me. I don't even know if this adds something that maybe will prolong gameplay. Hopefully it does. But with only like 5 weapons added and a new storyline to play through, which I think is awesome, I don't know if that's enough to keep you playing a long time afterwards. Plus, like, the content's not there. I already have a lot of guns that are already maxed out, and my character's already really good, all that kind of shit. But yeah, I'm glad that one of the first things they did was added melee weapons, because that is something that we're just like, enemies have it, why don't we?
Yeah.
Hopefully they add more. Hopefully they add some some blades out of the arms, just fucking rip that right off from Cyberpunk. That'd be cool. And then, yeah, that shield, if that's a new thing, I feel like it is. It's pretty cool as well. It gives you kind of a more team dynamic, which is something that I feel like the game needs a little bit more of, is things that affect everybody. It has a couple things, but not a lot. So I'd like to see that. It does feel a little individual, like everybody's just unloading and killing things, which is a lot of fun. But if it had a little more synergy involved, I think it would be an even better game. Yeah. But all in all, this was like a big surprise for me when I was like kind of looking for stuff to talk about on Tastecast. I was like, wait, the Ascent got fucking DLC? And I just fucking bought it real quick. I was like, I'm so ready for that. But I'm kind of on the same page as you in the sense that, like, I bought it. I'm going to check it out. But I got other things I want to play right now. And I feel like I want to check this out, but it's not a high priority for me now, because I've already played the game so much. So I will play it for sure. I bought it just to kind of, I wanted to support them right now. I want them to know, like, hey, dude, I wanted this or I wanted this DLC.
Right.
In hopes that they'll update it more and add more little things like this to make the game bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, I do want to play other games right now, so it will take a back seat for now because I've gotten my fill recently. It was like only a couple months ago that we played this a lot. And yeah, I'm really happy to see it, though. Really stoked. The game deserves it. And the biggest thing, add more content. That's crucial. It's what I want. But the biggest thing they got to do is they got to fucking clean this game up, because this game is a really good game that has too many bugs, and it shouldn't. So they need to get rid of those so that this game can just stand on its own as a fucking awesome game, and not with the caveat of going, but
Yeah.
your character can get fucking deleted if you play with a friend who's making their character. So don't do that. Like, you shouldn't have the option if that's a possibility.
Game in progress only.
Yeah. I'm going to do you guys a favor real quick, because we already covered this on that. If you're playing with a friend and you got a character you've been working on already, they've already leveled, and your friend is brand new to the game, and they want you to hop in the lobby before they start the game, and they go to character creation with you in the lobby with them, it will delete your fucking character. So do not do that. Let them make their character, let them start the game, and then invite you in. Don't ever get in that fucking lobby with somebody. I don't trust it at this point. Just join their fucking game when they're playing
They're in it already, yeah.
Because that really sucked. So, Yeah, it's very, very rare that I run into a bug so big it gets rid of my character. That's some fucking like Xbox 360 era shit that I would expect back then, not nowadays. So, yeah, save yourself the time and do it right. But yeah, overall, really stoked about this. Really stoked to try it out, and I hope they continue supporting this game, because this game, you could support it for fucking years if you made the right content, and keep adding more and more missions to do, because there's plenty of stuff to do in this game, but you can get through it pretty quickly. So it needs more stuff.
You can speed run real quick.
Yeah, you can get through it pretty fast. So, all right, anything else? All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think of the Ascent, and what do you think about Cyber Heist? Do you think it's a good amount of content? Do you want to see more? Did you play this game at all already? Do you plan on playing it? If you haven't played it, why haven't you played it? I think it was on Game Pass for a while. Might still be there, so you can maybe check it out there. And yeah, let me think. Let me know what you think. And what would you like to see them add other than what they've already added just now? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below. All right, next video we got is for Bloody Hell Hotel, which is a vampire horror meets Stardew Valley game. So this is going to be kind of weird. We got to watch the trailer, which is important, but the trailer doesn't tell you anything. But we have another video from IGN that's set up for TikTok ratio that will explain the game. So we got to watch the trailer and then watch the short. I forgot what they're called, that will explain the game. But before we watch this, just so you can kind of know what you're getting into when you're seeing this, this is a first-person game where you run a hotel, and you're trying to upgrade it, you're decorating it, you're doing all that shit, and you need guests to come in to pay you to get the upgrades. You're also a vampire, so you have to drink blood and kill people to survive, but you only get money when people who are staying at the hotel leave. They pay you when they leave. So there's going to be kind of a balance of who are you killing and who are you not to maintain your hotel.
Okay.
So we'll watch it. We'll get a taste of what it looks like, and then we'll listen to the info. You ready?
Yep.
All right. This is Bloody Hell Hotel Vampire Horror meets Stardew Valley exclusive announcement trailer. 3, 2, 1, and go. It's got really nice animations. It's a very interesting style. Just keep the fucking door in. That was fucking wild. There's some combat, which is nothing new to the genre. Stardew Valley has that. And yeah, that's what it looks like. I'll set this up for that. And then here's the description. Let me make sure it's all... Alright, this should explain the game.
Hell Hotel is a new game where you play as a vampire setting up a hotel business and feasting on the guests. Think of it as a first-person Stardew Valley, except you can eat all the villagers. The team is aiming to make the most ambitious first-person simulation game in existence. According to the creator, guests only pay for their stay if they leave the hotel alive. So the hotel can't actually grow if the player simply kills off all the guests. There are various types of guests, and their traits affect not only their behavior in the hotel, but also the consequences of killing them. Bloody Hell Hotel isn't a straight horror game. It's more inspired by the creator's love of Tim Burton movies as a child.
This is definitely obvious.
Bloody Hell Hotel will be coming to PC and consoles, although the list of consoles hasn't yet been specified. And even though there is no current release date, you can wishlist it right now. Bloody Hell.
All right, that was the description. I also want to just kind of throw out there, I do not like their format for shorts. on a screen this big. It looks fucking stupid, but oh well. All right, what do we think?
I think like the visual style, though not necessarily my thing, is very good looking.
It's a really clean looking game.
Yeah, they definitely they had a vision, they went for it, and I think it's all very fitting. Though I can't handle the giant heads, that's driving me insane.
Yeah, I think that's my least favorite thing. It's like when they come walking in, all their heads are gigantic. They look like bobbleheads.
Yeah, or like, you know, pop figurines or Nendoroids or whatever, you know, you're familiar with. But yeah, I mean it seems pretty neat in like you know, how do I word this? Like a micromanagement sort of way. I don't know if I'm necessarily the right person for it. I'm not super into vampires, and I kind of don't like the feeding system because it feels like a at least from what I've heard. Obviously, I haven't really seen the game, so but it feels like a stamina system almost. And I'm not super fond of.
I am curious if it's going to be a stamina system or like maybe it's going to be an XP system where you get enough and you get progression.
Yeah.
In some way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I think it's got a lot of neat stuff there, but I do think I might be the wrong person, but we'll see. I'll keep my eye on it.
Yeah, I feel like once it's out, we'll have more info and make a better judgment. But I think it's really cool in the sense that it's offering kind of a new take on something that's already been around for a little bit. There are a lot of people out there who try to do a similar thing to like Stardew Valley or any other game where you manage something like this. But it being like first person, I think is really interesting because a lot of those games are all top down, which makes sense and I like it. But for someone to try something different is pretty cool. But then even to try something even more different by like adding a horror element to it, being a vampire, which I do agree. I'm also not really into vampires. Look at V Rising. A lot of people told me it's awesome. It probably is. I still haven't picked it up just because vampires just really don't do it for me. Unless there's like a Legacy of Kain or something like from back in the day. I just don't care about vampire stuff that much, so it's not a selling point for me. But I do like the creativity of the micromanagement of upgrading and managing a hotel that has a very unique looking style, but also having an element of like, you know, killing your guests, which is interesting. It doesn't have to be a vampire thing. The idea of like you can kill your guests is really interesting, and I'm interested in if it's just, you know, kicking in the door and sucking their blood. It's just like an animation where you hit a button like, all right, kill this dude, or if there'll be ways to do it, which would be kind of interesting, almost like Death Trap Dungeon or something. I'm bringing up a lot of old games right now from PlayStation. But yeah, it looks like it offers a lot of different things to do. We're not seeing the full details, but a lot of these clips are kind of showing a lot of variations on the room, so it seems like everybody's hotel is going to look different. And it seems like it's just kind of adding on to the format that we already know in terms of some kind of management game where you maintain a hospital, a hotel, a prison, whatever, those kind of games. But also with this very quirky visual style of having weird little vampire dudes who are your people running the front desk of a hotel. I'm also impressed with the graphics. I think they're not amazing, but pretty good. They're really clean looking. Mm-hmm. They're very animated. That cow's insane looking. But also, I think the animations look really good too. It's interesting that you don't actually interact with things with your hands a whole lot. You just kind of
use the force.
Use your force and fucking things kind of move around. But I think it looks good. I think it has a cool visual style, and like the boards, like getting boarded up real quick when he did that, I thought looked really good. Or he does it with the hammer, but they're just kind of fucking showing up. And yeah, a lot of really cool little things here and there. I do agree. I think those heads are really stupid, but at least the game is identifiable. Like once this game comes out, you're not going to be able to mistake it for another game. But yeah, I'm just at the point right now where I'm 100% intrigued. I definitely, if the game was out now and this was the trailer, I would probably go pick it up to check it out. But I would like to see some details on how the management goes, what kind of systems are in place there, because this is just him walking around, things are happening, but is there like, an overlay where you activate something and now you can change the walls, or is it a menu you go through, or these are all things I'd like to know. But but the concept's there. Also has combat, which is interesting. But I mean, even Terraria has combat. Not Terraria, fucking Stardew Valley.
I'll say Terraria is a lot
Terraria's
of combat.
definitely got combat. I did not say anything wrong there, but wrong game. Stardew Valley's got combat where you can go into the
simple, but
mines
yes.
and shit, but it's kind of cool that you'll be able to do that here. I wonder how expansive that'll be. Probably be basic. I think the game is mostly probably just this, but and it'd be cool to see if you can add rooms and stuff like that, or if it's just like a fixed place. I don't know, but overall, I think it looks pretty cool. It's definitely something I'm gonna be checking out. As a guy who doesn't play a lot of these games, so that's kind of interesting. Like you were saying, it's not really doesn't seem really for you. I don't know if it's for me, but it's got me a little more intrigued than a lot of these types of games. So. I also like first-person games, so...
yeah, I'm not like 100% dismissing it, but there are some
thematic
unattractive things to me. But I mean, if it comes out and it's a great game, then I'm definitely going to be interested because I do like these type of games. So.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was thinking. I was like... I didn't know where you're going to be about like the horror theming and the vampire stuff, but I was like, you like games like this, though, so there might be a chance you'd be into it. But yeah, looks pretty cool in my opinion. Definitely a game I will be keeping my eye on, and I think I'm probably gonna pick this up. I'm already kind of sold on it, but unless something comes out and shows that it's like stupid looking, but I haven't seen that yet. You got anything else to say?
Nope.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think about Bloody Hell Hotel. Does it look like a game you want to play? Do you like these kind of games? Is there any features you'd like to see in this game? Are you into vampire stuff? Is that a selling point for you, or are you like me and Chevy, where we're just not really into the vampire stuff? And yeah, what's your favorite management style game? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Next game we're going to be watching, or next video, is Meet Your Maker First Look Preview. Now, this is a game that I've heard about and watched a little bit on already, so I won't be surprised by anything here, but I don't think you know anything about this game, so I'll kind of fill you in real fast. They'll talk about it too, but this is being made by Behavior, the same people who make Dead by Daylight. This is their next game.
Okay.
This game is two different games. It is a raiding game and a death trap maker game. So you go into the game, you're able to create a dungeon essentially, meant to stop people from getting like a core from it. You put in traps, enemies, all kind of stuff. You just design the whole place.
It's like that Ubisoft game they tried doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other side of it is you play this game and it's 2-player co-op, which is kind of neat too. And it's essentially Quake. You go into their map. Hopefully it has like a Mario Maker style thing where like you have to make it like doable.
Yeah.
Because I could see a lot of people trying to make exploits to make it impossible to do.
100%.
But Mario Maker, like you have to finish your own map to be able to even publish it. Hopefully they have something like that in this. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But yeah, people make Dead by Daylight, make an FPS map maker type game. Was very interesting for me before I even watched this, but we'll watch this. You can get a look at it, and we'll talk about it. Got anything to say before we watch this?
No, it's funny when you were explaining it. I wish I could remember the name. It's like some super long sentence of a name where you like play a hero that like tries to go through a dungeon that people make.
Yeah, it was a cool idea. I feel like it was kind of like
but it was
felt
a little
flat.
too mobile game-esque.
Yeah,
when they
yeah, I
made
agree.
It. And then it also kind of gave me a Tecmo's Deception vibe when you're talking about building traps and stuff. So
yeah. All right, let's watch this in 3, 2. This is Meet Your Maker first look preview in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Dead by Daylight developers Behavior Interactive gave us an extended look at what they're cooking up next, and it couldn't be any more different. Meet Your Maker is set in a sort of rust-punk post-apocalypse, where the last survivors of the human race shoot and slice each other to
Reminds
get
me
their
of Quake.
hands on the most precious resource imaginable, pure genetic material. The setting is maybe the most mundane thing about this game, though. Design-wise, it hopes to blend two seemingly incongruent genres to make a truly unique online experience. Meet Your Maker is really two sub-games in one, a base builder and a speedy dungeon shooter. In the first bit, you build your outpost full of winding paths and traps like bomb ejectors and spiked walls to keep the genetic material prize safe from incoming player raiders. From the footage, it's tough to see how big these things can get, but they appear to be massive. There are also several different materials you can build with, but we can't say for sure what the benefit of one would be over the other. When you're done creating your death fortress, you can populate it with AI guards that handle various forms of gun slinging and blade swinging to stop oncoming raiders in their tracks.
I
You can
love
even
this
set the paths they
ragdoll.
patrol on. All very cool and creative stuff. This seems like a
you
lot
can
to
shoot a
learn.
nail
though.
and they do
It feels
backflip.
like so much
Yeah.
trial and error is involved in getting something like this right that without a great tutorialization at the beginning, I can see lots of people skipping this feature completely to just shoot up the more diligent and determined players who didn't. Similar to how Dreams has more people playing Dreams creations than doing the creating themselves.
True.
That said, there are a lot of other features only lightly exposed and hinted at here, like being able to quickly test your traps as a raider on the spot. So user-friendliness seems to be a large priority here. The
It
other
has
half
to
of the
be,
game
otherwise the
involves
game's not gonna
raiding
work.
other people's outposts yourself. Running through an enemy outpost requires being extra prepared for anything, being able to adjust your plan on the fly, and having the speed and reflexes to react to sudden problems. Besides your own wits, you have an arsenal of weapons like a gnarly-looking bowgun and a punchy shotgun. A sword appears to be an option for close encounters and can be used defensively to deflect incoming projectiles. The grappling hook allows you to move across rooms quickly, as well as pull yourself to faraway enemies and close the distance. Put together, the combat looks extremely enticing for people who loved first-person shooters like Doom. Bringing genetic material back to your sanctuary for its chimera, a biological experiment tied to the possible future of humanity, is the main goal. Raids hold a trove of other loot though, like weapon upgrades and new building materials that you can tweak your own outposts with. You can repeat failed raids multiple times, so progress through tough outposts can happen on your time. You can also recruit a friend to raid with you in co-op. Tackling a challenge with another set of eyes, ears, and guns could make the difference.
I fucking love
There's
this
still
game as
plenty to
co-op.
be
I
learned
didn't
about Meet
expect
Your
that.
Maker. Behavior Interactive slated the official launch sometime in
I'm wondering,
2023, but interested parties can sign up for the closed
what you're
playtest,
getting
which will
for
take place in the
completing
coming
them?
weeks.
Like,
Until
they
then, come
vaguely
check
said,
out our
obviously,
latest
but I don't know
IGN
what
first
that means,
exclusive
right?
piece on Gotham
Like that
Knights.
stuff.
And for all other things video games and entertainment,
You assume the
stick with IGN.
the DNA core thing or whatever will be like just whether you get the full XP or whatever upgrade, whatever the fuck you get for completing a map. Whereas if you don't get it, you'll probably get some of that. But he said that you can find like those like treasure troves with like upgrades and weapon upgrades and parts for your own building and stuff like that.
Right. So yeah, I mean, outside of the fun factor, which honestly, a game like this would be easy to play just for the fun factor instead of focusing so much on like acquiring things. But I do think, obviously, getting to that goal to bring something. Once they said you could bring it back, I was like, okay, well, what's the purpose of actually bringing that back, and like how like long term is that? I mean, the guys make Dead by Daylight, like you said, so they're already used to making a game that just goes forever, pretty much. I think it's a pretty attractive idea they got going on. I don't think there's necessarily anything new here, but I do think they took a bunch of things and meshed them into a game, and I think that alone is a very creative approach to the idea they got. I think it looks like a cool game. I don't know if I'm like day one sold, but I do. If it comes out and people just are like, "Hey, the thing they said it's gonna do, it does," then yeah, I'll probably pick it up because I do think letting people make the maps is going to increase longevity a lot of the game, and then being able to play with your friends also is going to increase the longevity of the game. So they definitely thought about it. I'm interested for sure.
Well, the thing that's really cool is like when you're making a map, and I swear another video I watched said you can have another person there while you're making maps too, but I don't know if that's true or not. But when you're making a map, that's kind of a solo thing anyway. You want to sit there, you want to think about it. You're like, that didn't work, and get rid of that. And you're just kind of doing your thing. But when you're playing it, in my head, I was like, yeah, you just run through it solo. But when they said co-op, I'm like, that's kind of cool because it's a social game at that point. Like, it's social in the sense that like, oh, I'm playing this dude's map and I'm trying to get through it, and they're gonna know if I failed or if I completed it or not. But to do those with a friend, I think is really neat because I mean, it'd be even kind of neat if somebody could play with you who made the fucking map.
Yeah.
Although it'd be a little unfair because they would know it's coming, but like it'd still be cool to have that freedom. It just adds this social element to it. That it's not just a solo game that the community's based on creation, but also like you can play with people. I just think it's fucking awesome. That's not anything I was expecting, and that is really dope because I always say with every game it needs multiplayer. But as you were saying, this game could have some legs. This game could have some longevity because of the nature of people making maps, which is fucking awesome. And then over time, this is going to be a game they're going to support over time, like Dead by Daylight. So they're going to be creating more locations, more types of things to build with, more weapons, hopefully things that can make your character look different, maybe new abilities. That's, this is a game I'm thinking about 5 years later. What is it going to be?
For sure.
And the concept on paper sounds awesome. What I'm seeing is functioning. I keep looking at it and going like, it looks slightly underbaked. Some of the stuff looks a little janky, the frame rate. It seems, I don't know if that's IGN or if that's the game or not. The location and the building materials look like it could get old quick, but as long as they update that, it's going to be part of the many, many pieces to build with later in the game. So this, like I said, this is a game that I'm thinking about the future of, like how crazy and ambitious will it be later. But also it's coming from Behavior, who has a pedigree already. They already have a very successful online multiplayer game, and it's awesome. I fucking love Dead by Daylight. I think it's a really good idea. I think it's a really fun game. So any of my slight doubts, I don't really have any, but anything I'm thinking about, like, well, if somebody else was making this game, I'd be like, well, we'll find out. We'll find out if it's cool or not. But that these guys are making, I'm like, it's probably going to be good. I think they understand the nature of online community. I think they understand how to present ideas well, simple ideas that work. I mean, Dead by Daylight's a very simple game, but it has a lot of complication in terms of the perks you unlock, the way you unlock them, the way you utilize them with your characters. In a game that you can't fight back against the enemy, you have to use all these perks to be creative on how to not get killed. And then with the killer, it's a completely different experience. You're using your perks to utilize how to hunt people down and murder them. So they already got a game where they got two different kind of games happening in one. So it kind of makes sense that they would do this. I just didn't expect them to make a first-person shooter that kind of looks like a competent first-person shooter. I think the guns look good. I think the animations and movement look really good. It's just like the Minecraft world that doesn't look bad, but it looks not as good as like the character models and stuff like that. But they got to allow you to build, and so that's that. But this is something I think is funny though. The hands are like up here.
Oh yeah,
which just seems weird to me. And then having loot to find in people's maps. I wonder if that brick where the thing is, they will have. I doubt they'll have control on what's in it, but it probably will have to have one. And then when you find it, it'll be random.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like map size dictates like how many places you have to put loot in or something.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to have like certain things to complete the map, a beginning point, end point, where the thing's at, and then it's probably like you need to put these treasure things in here somewhere that's accessible. And then when the person playing cracks them open, it'll probably give them random loot. That's my guess. But
the only other thing I'd be concerned about is like people trying to make like fast track maps essentially, where just like
that's gonna be huge.
You walk in, the loot's just there for free.
100%. They're gonna have to figure that out too.
Yeah.
So. There's gonna be a lot of challenges with this game, but because of how much they've already fucked around with Dead by Daylight, I feel like they're probably up to the task. But that's a really good point because I've played games where people will just make like a get to level 100 in 1 hour, fucking playing this map, and people will 100% do that in this.
Oh yeah.
And everybody will play that map. It'll be like the most high-rated map, and then they'll have to fight against that. So hopefully they're coming into this knowing people are going to try and do that. Hopefully they have like a distance thing, and maybe they're like, you have to have this many enemy types on the map. You need to have. They're got to figure that out. I'm not going to try and figure that out because I'm not developing the game. But yeah, now I'm thinking about that. I'm like, fuck, dude, that's gonna be rough. But yeah, again, like I said, the game looks really cool. The idea is really cool. It, like you said, nothing new, but nobody's nailed it yet. So, except for Mario Maker, I would argue. People really liked that game. I never played it. But, yeah, hopefully they can nail it. Hopefully they can make a game that will have legs and have longevity and people will play it for years and they keep, supporting it and updating it. I would really like that. I'd love to see a game later where there's a bunch of guns and a bunch of shit to unlock and cool perks and stuff like that. It would be really cool to see a game like this have some longevity. So yeah, overall, I mean, I'm sold on it. I think it sounds awesome. It's definitely right up my alley. I want to do both of these things. So I just hope it works. I hope they nail it so it sticks around, because a game like this, how fun it is going to make or break it, and if it doesn't do well, they're not going to keep supporting it. So
yeah, definitely one of those games that if they get it right, it'll be something I'll be excited to play because the idea is cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it seems like a game you could play too, because it's not like a scary game or anything. It's just a fucking first person shooter.
Well, it's just a co-op shooter. So.
Yeah, exactly. And the map making, I feel like if anyone has any interest at all in like building in a game, why wouldn't you want to do this? You're like, well, I'll make a map and see if people get through it or not, and it's kind of cool to check like, oh, today these guys died in here, these guys made it, that kind of thing, and hopefully you can update it, make more maps and shit. So yeah, it's a cool idea. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments what do you guys think of Meet Your Maker. Is this a game that sounds interesting to you? Are you not interested in this? Do you play Dead by Daylight? Do you like Dead by Daylight? What are some things in this trailer or this video that you saw that you liked? What are some things you're hoping they will have in the game? Any concerns? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Last video we are watching is for Gotham Knights, How Skill Trees Work. And this is mostly for me, but me and you have talked about this game in the past, and we both, kind of seem like there's elements of the game we thought were cool and elements of the game that weren't so cool. And this is a game, personally, that I've been trying to, like, struggle to find any reason to, really want to play it outside of, like, it'll probably be all right. I've watched a little bit of this video, but not a lot of it. But it does offer some information that I think is worth checking out. So we're going to watch this and see if it can sway us in any way to possibly want to play Gotham Knights, especially because it has co-op, and that's an easy sell for me for most games. Anything you want to say before we watch this?
They have an uphill battle for me. I'll just say that much. So
yeah, well, we'll see if this does anything for you or not. And this is Gotham Knights, How Skill Trees Work. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Gotham Knights has an unexpected philosophy at its heart. While it might be a game about 4 superheroes trying to fill the void left by a murdered Batman, the developers don't want you to feel like you're creating 4 successors. They want you to find a favorite and turn them into a single, new Dark Knight.
We always understood that there had to be a sense by the end of the story and by the end of your kind of investment in the hero that you have in some way transcended the obvious potential of this character in order to become a symbol. This is someone who I believe can fill the vacuum Batman has left behind. So that's such an essential aspect of the fantasy that we felt like there needed to be a moment where that was reflected in the ability tree, where it was reflected in the kind of RPG foundations of the game.
With that overall philosophy in mind, a game mechanic that has you constantly changing and experimenting with new techniques feels apt. Gotham Knights offers a lot of options in that regard, from new superhero suits to ability-changing gear, but it doesn't make that idea clearer than in its skill trees.
The main abilities that you see on the ability tree are abilities that you unlock after you've earned ability points. And that's something that's a natural function of leveling up in the sort of standard RPG way. You get XP, you level up, you get some ability points. And there's, dependencies and prerequisites like you would normally see in an action RPG. But that is the gating mechanism for those abilities. You're spending points, you're deciding where you want to spend them.
Of course, with 4 different heroes, you're likely to want to experiment, and the game accounts for that without feeling like you're leaving anyone behind while not playing with them.
Obviously, we're a multi-protagonist game, and we expect that a lot of players are going to kind of identify fairly quickly that, okay, I like this hero, this character matches my style of play, I'm invested in their progression and in their evolution, I want to play that character for a long time. That said, there's 3 other heroes that you may decide at some point it would be interesting for you to try, and that you want to be able to jump into playing without feeling like
it just looks like when they put guns in MMOs.
You need to go back and
you're just kind of standing there doing DPS on them and shit. I'm like,
so then what happens is if you decide to switch characters, basically you now have a kind of surplus of ability points that you can go into the menu and spend. You'll sit there, you'll allocate them, you can look at the whole ability tree, you can decide what you want to have access to.
The skill trees themselves are made up of a mix of ability or stat-changing upgrades, but the paths they take you down are purposely varied, allowing you to build different versions of the same hero. Batgirl can specialize in one-on-one melee combat, but she can also focus on hacking abilities or survivability. Nightwing can build on his acrobatics, but can also offer massive buffs for co-op play. Robin can improve on his preternatural talents for stealth, but he could equally work on tech that helps provide decoys or enhance elemental effects. And in this footage, we're showing off all of Red Hood's trees in their totality.
To me, I'm not a comic book guy. I'm sure someone's like, he has that in this
It's
series,
really about
in this
dealing
issue,
more
campaign,
damage
whatever.
at range.
That skill tree
focuses mostly on damage per second and rewards for shooting and rewards for taking the time to use precision aim. The Brawler skill tree is about melee combat, but more importantly, it's about powering up the fact that Red Hood is our largest character, and he's got the best grab and throw mechanics in Gotham Knights. That's a really, sort of brutal hand-to-hand focused skill tree. So if you're into that style of play, it's a great place to invest early to get the most out of Red Hood. The Vengeance tree is essentially reflecting Red Hood's rage in different ways. He can be an intimidating character. It's sort of about leveraging parts of his personality and embodying them as abilities.
That was a 15% fucking increase to damage
more
when fighting mobs.
And to deal more damage against certain types of enemies that he is truly angry inside.
That's cool though that you can
you may have noticed that there's a
things. I mean, eventually I assume you're going to get them all,
Perhaps
but
the most
it's cool you can
interesting of all
specialize.
the ability options, Knighthood is available for every character and represents a moment of self-actualization where your hero has worked out how they can become their own Dark Knight rather than just a new Batman. Knighthood will begin to unlock after a specific point in the story, but every character will have to complete a set of unique challenges to begin earning the
I kind of love that they're doing that because it's not a Western idea typically. That's a JRPG kind of thing. Like locking content behind progression in the story.
It unlocks your ultimate
I kind of like they're
ability
doing
for
that.
Batgirl That's the Throne, and it unlocks the Knighthood ability tree where you can start to add additional very powerful mechanics to your hero that are otherwise not available to you until that point in the story.
Once you've unlocked knighthood for one character, you don't need to go and do the story beat again for the other heroes in order to gain access to that progression. But you'll need to go out and do the challenges for that hero that are associated with these additional abilities.
Knighthood is a truly interesting combination of narrative and mechanic, a way of using traditional RPG ideas to help tell the story of Gotham Knights' budding heroes.
So literally, there is a moment where it's possible for you to kind of have this epiphany with your character, right? It can be the moment that Robin suddenly, he's like staring at the Batman shrine in the Belfry, and he's like looking at the gauntlet, thinking about the technology and how Batman used it, because he's like the most recent member of that team, and Robin's thinking to himself, wait a minute, Batman wasn't just what was in the Batcave or just what he had on his person. It was also his relationship and his connection to the bigger universe of these superheroes, right? The Justice League satellite. So that's
I deserve more things to put
I
skill
can
points
tap
in.
into that. I
So
can
I'm
absolutely tap into
self-actualizing.
that. And if I use it this way, it's going to open up a set of abilities and some ways of fighting crime. And so that first moment is what opens up his heroic traversal. It's where he goes, I can do short-range teleportation. So, these are the kinds of sort of thematic links that we tried to create with the Knighthood branch.
And alongside all of these skill trees is another menu of unlockables, momentum abilities. These amount to special attacks that can be assigned to specific button combos. Many of the momentum abilities tie into the skill trees, but they're earned differently.
In the case of the momentum abilities, you're getting those by engaging in challenges in the world. When you look at the momentum ability breakdown,
square, X,
in order
circle,
to
and
unlock
triangle.
that, I need
That's
to do the
interesting.
following 4
Oh,
or
you have to
5
hold
things.
R1. Okay, that makes all
amount
the sense
of
in the world.
synergy between abilities and different trees actually happens between the momentum abilities tab and the rest of the trees. For example, Batgirl's beatdown is a momentum ability, but can be powered up by other abilities in her tree that allow her to do it more effectively and with piercing damage, which the ability doesn't usually have at the start.
The developers' goals with all of these trees isn't just to tack on RPG mechanics to an action game, but to provide a legitimate sense that your heroes are growing, learning, and changing throughout the course of Gotham Knights' story. As a player, you're being asked to help create your own version
I'm curious
of those
about
heroes,
how
and the team
diverse
doesn't
the
want you
gear
to
is.
simply be able to fill out
Because
an
mixing
entire
that
skill
with
tree on your
these
first
elements
playthrough, encouraging you
could be
instead
interesting.
to pick and choose carefully.
If you're playing through Gotham Knights in a regular way, so I'm going after all of the main story arcs and I'm fighting the villain arcs, I will have unlocked most but not all of the skill tree. So your choices are always going to matter at least as far as what it takes for you to beat the story. I think players will and probably should mix and match to get the best out of the abilities in Gotham Knights. We know that players will choose ability clusters as we
charged up some
arrange them in the
skulls.
trees because they are excited about an individual ability. But there is a lot of synergy between trees, and also you kind of have to experiment to find out what you really like. So I do expect that players will mix and match quite a lot.
If you want to know more about Gotham Knights, we have got tons for you in this month's
All right,
IGN.
so we got some info for the skill trees, how they work. There's going to be an extended skill tree at a certain point in the story, and some kind of moves that you're going to be able to unlock separately of that, on top of the gear that's going to change your stats and abilities you get with the gear. What do we think of it?
Well, I don't think it necessarily changed my mind on the game. However, to be positive about it, I do think that they are doing a great job of adding variety to the game for people who are going to be picking this up to be able to play the type of hero they want to play, and I think that's great. They have multiple skill trees. Every character has their own playstyle as well, and the skill trees revolve around that character's playstyle. And like they said kind of early on, where you can a good example is you usually like mobile characters that are faster and whatnot. I usually play more like support type characters, and you would kind of lean into a character because they would fit into that archetype better for you, type of deal. And I think that's important. It allows more people access to the game. Also, be able to make those adjustments in using the skill trees, and then the combo finishers or momentums or whatever they called them.
Oh yeah.
I think is also a neat idea. I think there are a lot of neat ideas here. Obviously my big problems personally are I still think the game itself has kind of weird, overly in your face UI elements to it. Which isn't.
I remember we talked about it before, but I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and some people like that. Don't get me wrong, and you do you. That's fine. I think it's a little much.
And to be fair, they did say you can adjust that however you want, which I thought was kind of
that.
funny because they're like, you figure it out. But I remember the original video we watched was crazy abundant, the amount of things on the screen. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I actually think this video showed a lot less of it, which I appreciate.
Maybe they heard feedback and they're like, turn it down a little bit so people are
Well, and
fucking...
I think in that case they just were trying to show it off anyways, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think in this they were trying to show off more of the moves and the gameplay aspect, which I think this was a better showcase than the original one, 100%. My other problem is I'm so completely burnt out on superhero stuff that even if the game's good, I just have zero interest in it.
Yeah.
So is that fair? Not really.
Well, and open world superhero games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to complain about them because I'll play a lot of things, but I do understand that mentality because that's not a selling point for me of this game. Playing as a superhero, not a selling point. Open world, run around fighting crime, not a selling point. You got to bring something else. So I get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, but for what it is and from what I've seen, it does look neat. And I hope they release a great game for people looking forward to this. I'm doing my best not to be super pessimistic about it because I don't think it looks like a bad game. Yeah, I just don't think it's a game for me so much. So.
I think this was a much better presentation than the last one we watched, though. Yes. It was also in smaller clips and a lot of menus, so we didn't get to watch the animations that we had issues with last time because some of those looked really bad. And one of the characters walks like a gorilla, which I thought was really weird. His arms were down to his knees, which was really weird, really, really weird looking. But outside of that, with this game, I've been sitting on a fence. Leaning left and right a little bit, left being I'm not going to buy it, right being I'm going to buy it. And I was kind of starting to fall to the left. I think I'm starting to fall to the right now a little bit in terms of wanting to buy it in the sense of seeing the skill trees. They're nothing revolutionary, but there's a couple things I'm liking that they're doing here. I like that each character is completely different, but each character has 3 different things to lean into. And like he said, by the end of the game, you're going to have most of the skills unlocked, but not all of them, which kind of reminds me of Borderlands. You get one of your trees and a half done, and you got to play more to, do more with that, or rebuild your character, which I like. I like having to tool builds, but I like that that you can with the guns. I forgot his name. You can lean into him shooting, you can lean into him brawling, or you can lean into whatever vengeance is. They did a horrible job fucking talking about what that meant, but it does seem like you're going to want to lean into Brawler Marksman and have Vengeance on the side, because it seems like it's increasing your stats and ability to kill things. But that's really cool. Also, I like that every character is going to have their own version of knighthood. I also love the way they're doing the progression, because that reminds me of a JRPG where you're 40 hours into the game and a new feature fucking unlocks. That's something you don't get in a lot of Western games. A lot of Western games, it's just like, have you still been upgrading your guns? Because you got all these guns you got.
There's just always a checkpoint to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, like, you know, having a whole new thing open up later is like this like refreshing feeling of like, oh shit, there's a new thing to do.
Yeah,
you don't have to give everybody
the
everything
game
at the beginning.
changes.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So I think it is actually really neat they're doing that. As much as I'll care about the story or not, I have no idea. But I do think it's cool. There will be a moment where it's like, you've unlocked this feature. And I'm like, that's cool. Also, the momentum thing, or whatever it's called, is also more progression. I love that. On top of gear that will give you abilities and stats and stuff, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of tooling to do in this game, which I think is really cool. But here's the thing that's leaning me over to the buy side now. Then, in fact, I think I'm going to buy this game at this point. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but I am interested enough to buy this. Is all those things in a co-op game is interesting to me. The idea that somebody else could be playing one of those 4 characters and I could be playing one of those 4 characters, and we have our own builds that could be different and diverse to tackle different mission types, like that, and then eventually have different traversal methods. Like it looked like the girl was like gliding, and then the other guy was teleporting. I don't know what's up with that, but definitely looks like a character I would play. It seems cool. You could utilize these things in combat like they just did there. You could synchronize with your friend when you're playing together to do different kinds of things. That sounds cool, because how many co-op open world superhero games with progression and gear are there? Not a lot. So that's starting to offer me something that I don't have. And so now I'm starting to get into the mindset where I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy this. Plus, everybody who's positive about this game, there's definitely there's different teams for this game. A lot of them are really excited about the Court of Owls. I don't know anything about it, but a lot of them are like really stoked that somebody's touching it, because I guess it's a storyline in the comics they really dig.
Oh, okay.
And it hasn't been in a movie, hasn't been in anything, and this is about the Court of Owls. So, you know, I'm not going to care about the story too much, unless I do. I don't know. But a lot of people seem to be excited about that, and that is cool to hear. So, yeah, I'm glad to say that after watching this video, I am in the ballpark of probably going to buy this game at this point. Just no major hype, but I would love to play this game and be wrong, like I always say. I want every game to be awesome. So
for sure.
I know you do too. So I sympathize with what you're saying, because I'm on the same page. We both are, you know, not super sold on superhero stuff, and you know, we were when we were younger. Now it's just like so much of it. It's just like fucking too much. And you know, open world games, I like them enough, but I am post open world at this point. Like, if you have an open world, that motherfucker better be dense, full of things to do. I hate an empty open world with nothing doing it. It's a waste of my time, especially with people who are making such cool and immersive experiences with more linear design. It's just like, you know, and some people have done open world very well. It's like the standard's been raised so much, you can't just make like a basic open world game anymore and expect me to play it. So yeah, we'll see what mission types are like. I also would like to see a video on the gear. I want to know how it affects everything. But this game does seem like a game I'm gonna want to play co-op for sure. So I don't have interest in playing it single player, honestly. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Anything else?
I think that about covers it.
All right, well, let us know in the comments what you guys think of Gotham Knights, how skill trees work. Did this do anything for you? Did this get you more hyped, less hyped? What do you think about the whole game in general? Is this a game you're going to want to pick up? Is this a game you're definitely not going to want to pick up? I've seen a lot of people say they think it's just going to be like the Avengers game. They think it's going to come out and just suck. I don't know. And then there's a lot of people like me who are just kind of like on the fence. Like, they don't know what to think about this game, which I think is really interesting, that it has such a diverse grouping of different types of people like coming into it and having different opinions on it. So let me know where you stand on it. What features are you liking? What features would you like to see? Who do you want to play as? I think I want to play as Robin. I hate the way he's dressed, but hopefully you can change their outfits. And yeah, let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this episode. of Tastecast, episode 171. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check out our links and streams. You're going to need that stream for Tuesday down below. And, well, I guess you just watch it here, too. I've been thinking about getting rid of my Twitch and just streaming only on YouTube, but I don't know if that's a good idea. We have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. We have Patreon if you'd like to support the channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing for brand new. And check out my TikTok, which is Tasty Loot Gaming on TikTok. And yeah, I've been Seth. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you, Chevy, for joining me. Until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy. See you Tuesday.